My teacher made fun of my trauma in class, so I made sure he never worked with kids again. It was supposed to be a fresh start. New town, new school, nobody knew what had happened. I didn't even correct people when they got my name wrong. I just needed to get through junior year without breaking again. Then came Mr. Harper, history teacher, early 40s, always smelled like cologne and chalk, the kind of man who laughed at his own jokes and talked over students. I didn't like him, but I stayed quiet. I was just a transfer kid from a family court case. I didn't want attention. He gave it to me anyway. It started with little things, skipping my raised hand, sighing when I read aloud. Then came the first joke. We were reading primary source letters from the Great Depression. One student read a letter about a child losing his home and ending up in state care. Harper looked at me and grinned. Hey, doesn't this sound familiar? The room got quiet. I felt like my ribs had collapsed. That night, I cried into my hoodie and told myself it didn't matter, but he didn't stop. When we covered the foster system in class, he pointed at me and said, "Expert opinion from the back row?" When I asked to leave the room, he smirked and asked if I was triggered. I reported him. Guidance counselor said he was just old school. Principal said he was tenured. So I started documenting. I kept a log, every date, every comment. I recorded audio on my phone when I could. I collected screenshots of group chats where students joked about how he picked on me. I asked the other quiet kids if they'd ever felt targeted. They had. One girl said he called her emo when she asked for a late grade due to a panic attack. Another said he laughed when she stuttered during a presentation. And then came the project. Group assignment on historical trauma narratives. I got paired with two kids I didn't know. I did the research, wrote the paper, made the slideshow. When we presented, Harper stopped me mid-sentence. So dramatic. You sure this isn't just your autobiography? The room laughed. I didn't. After class, I walked straight to the counselor's office and requested my file, the one with my court-ordered school transfer details. I told them I wanted a copy for college prep. They hesitated but gave it to me. Inside were the sealed details of what happened to me in 8th grade and the agreement my old school made to protect me. Harper had signed off on it, meaning he knew everything, and still chose to humiliate me. That night, I compiled everything. Audio, screenshots, copies of my school file. I wrote a letter, not angry, not emotional, just facts. I sent it to the school board, the county education office, and the Department of Child Services. Then I waited. 2 weeks later, an investigator showed up at school. Quiet interviews, anonymous surveys, teachers whispering in the halls. Harper looked more rattled every day. He stopped calling on students, stopped making jokes, then he stopped showing up. A substitute took over our class indefinitely. They told us he was on leave. I found out later he'd been under review for years. Minor reports. Nothing that stuck. My file made it stick. My documentation proved a pattern. They offered him retirement with no option to return to classroom settings. He took it.